Good morning all. Let's kick off in session 2 in the codes. I will present you Laurent Guillaume. Laurent is enthusiastic, leading for 16 years, a little bit more of 16 years, ERP systems to the cloud. So we will bring us a success story based on SAP to the cloud. Very important issue nowadays. And talking about the challenges of the success story moving SAP to the cloud. Thank you and enjoy. So this is yours.
Thank you, Jose. So to talk a little bit about myself, I'm leading the offering for Capgemini Group. So here I will be very pragmatic and showcase some case studies we have delivered worldwide, and that would definitely benefit your SAP roadmap journey, including the SAP to the cloud one. Let me start with some key pointers. The first one is everyone wants to shut down the data centers. Data centers is dead, and that's not me saying it, it's Gartner. Most of the data will be stored in the cloud space because there's all these digital events all around and making sure that you benefit and use and leverage all those innovations coming ahead. When it comes to SAP by itself, the S4 adoption is there. It might take longer than that, but the move to the cloud space before would definitely help out. And one key area would be, what should I do with the greenfield implementation and the greenfield migration and moving to S4? What should I do? But getting to the right technical platform means that you need to consider that public cloud for SAP is the only norm. If you don't do that, you won't get all the standards, agility, and all what you can benefit from cloud space. And that's also applying to SAP, which looks like a monolithic system, but is evolving in the right direction. And even SAP is stating that if you're not going to the public cloud space, you won't get the innovations. So basically, if we want to get into details, and I'm connecting with many customers worldwide, the first question is, what should I do with my SAP? SAP to cloud is not just a rehosting question, is what should I do in the future? From my business transformation standpoint, should I move to S4 or not? Or what should I do with my technical platform underneath? And that's a dilemma where you are at the moment, meaning the landscape is complex, an ecosystem has been built over years towards what to do with your SAP. SAP is the backbone and the glue out of it. And the first question, back to the TCO question from the cloud space, would be, what should I do? Should I do a business transformation? Should I do and optimize only the operations, maintaining my ECC system? Do I take an hybrid approach? Do I need to consider SaaS? So the pending question is, what's the hedge and how to make sure that what you're doing will fit on purpose on what's your SAP roadmap? Again, business transformation and platform transformation. And we're here to talk about this platform transformation. When it comes to these elements, again, the question is, what you're going to do from a business standpoint is, what would be the right platform to do it? Obviously, Azure brings all the value out of it. Then you have two key questions to raise. What would be the right automation layers and making sure that everything is fit on purpose and get out-of-the-box solutions with the right innovation pace and innovation layers? And the last piece is how to make sure that all the managed services and everything is running smoothly and with the right monitoring. So let's be very pragmatic. Now I'm going to talk about Sap North America, who's one of the largest HANA migration to Azure. We've delivered that with SAP, Azure, the customer, and ourselves. The challenges were this one. Big SAP landscape, all on-premise. They have a huge CapEx, OpEx transformations, and they need to make savings. Challenges were, what should they do? Should they stay on-premise, move to the hyper-converged world to make sure that they can do some reinvestment into it? No, they've decided that as a future, they would move onto big public cloud space, even if the solution had to be bulletproofed. And at the end, the benefits were there, meaning TCO reductions, $2 to $3 million savings per year. All the problems they had by maintaining 2 data centers and all those replications and performance issues were gone and set up correctly. So all of those aspects makes it, they've made a choice in the future, far in advance and make sure that now on they are moving some piece out and moving some piece in within the S4 move on. If we get a little bit technical here, you see the size of those database. And you see, and I won't get into the details, we've covered all the major details regarding performance, tuning, and everything that needs to be done and make sure that it was definitely fits on purpose. And what makes us proud is that it's changed some procedures, given the fact that the cloud is not rocket science, but it needs some tweaking and making sure that we have the right design and the right piece ahead and make sure that it works properly. To make it concrete, we use two elements because we have done a lot of stuff by making sure that we're going to set up and make it very compelling. Two elements. The first one is Azure Site Recovery, ASR, which allows all the DR and all the RTO, RPO questions by design from Microsoft. And the second element was the capacity and the capabilities to do the replication of the HANA systems, particularly on the SAP BW landscape. Those were the two elements that were used big time into it. All that being said, SAP and Azure, largest database instances into the cloud space, working perfectly and in sync. What I usually got when connecting and showcasing those success stories is, where do I start? How can I get it and make sure that it's working perfectly? I've described what you can expect and what you can do on the cloud space. I'm talking about technical areas. Fine, it's perfect. But now on, what are the four elements that you need to consider before moving to cloud space? Obviously, on the top right, you have all the technical architecture studies and all those techie stuff that needs to be covered. But you need to consider also and making sure that from an operational standpoint, and that's where you get most of the savings, you need to define and find out what are your bottlenecks? How would you optimize your operations and where cloud and its automation can make it very concrete and real. But furthermore, key question is, what's the business case behind it? How can you make savings, given the fact that if you're moving to ECC to S4 or HANA database, you would need twice the compute. So basically, if you're considering an equation out of the public cloud space, you will never get the savings, or at least if you're getting to the S4 world, on-premise, you won't get innovation, and it's going to cost you a fortune. So the choice is very clear. But to make sure that you won't have any troubleshoot with this move, the last item is very important. What would be the impact out of it? So again, SAP to cloud is absolutely not a lift and shift equation. It's more about how can I make sure that I'm bridging the business and the IT all together into one project. Again, doing the S4 migration alongside with the move to the cloud, or moving to the cloud my ECC, making sure that I'm preparing the future with the next SAP implementations. So that tackles the different challenges you will all have, which is what's basically my SAP journey? What should I do at what pace and by which step? Making sure that you also have, and that's what cloud brings up to the table, it's an excellent toolbox, but you need to make sure that your operations and your company is structured as is. And that's a big challenge towards SAP, because again, it has been structured for years. Doing cloud and digital IoT solutions is kind of easy from this political angle or this culture angle. SAP would require more change management, but that's where you get most of the savings and you will make sure that it's working perfectly. Two key topics, security and regulations. Basically, I got all those questions about GDPR, Public Act, all those elements. I'm working on Switzerland on the private banking sector. I can guarantee they are taking care of these things. So there's no real troubleshoot, but if there's any questions, and David can be in the detail, just let us know and we have those answers. And the last piece is for sure the architecture. And you'll see afterwards that depending on what you want to do on the architecture, it can cost you a fortune or you can save money. But you need to make the right call depending on your context. And apply all the best practices that are up to the table. So basically answering those 4-point items, tackling those challenges, we've done, and this is a real case study. I can't mention the customer because the customer is not live yet. It's a European one, big manufacturing company. And what we've done with them is that we've assessed their current SAP portfolio. And we've defined what would be the major criteria, and we have weighted them, given and towards the question about moving to cloud, moving to public cloud, moving to private cloud, or stay on-premise, making sure that they are making the right call. I'm skipping the also pending discussions towards what to do with the SAP journeys, because it will complexify the discussion. And you see that basically you roughly see the bottlenecks I was mentioning earlier. How can I do some scale up or scale out? How can I have the agility back on my instances? For example, the average time to refresh an instance on-premise in Europe is 7 weeks. You can do it in 2 days maximum in the cloud space. And all of that because of the operating model many people have structured. So you see that most of the criteria are definitely the ones that makes it very compelling. And we can discuss about the opportunities. Basically, there were pending questions towards staying on ECC, moving to S4. And what they've decided, no matter if they are ready or not on moving to S4 or the next SAP version, they have decided to do whatever this move to cloud because of this analysis. And if you have a look at the analysis and the spider graph, so we scored every criteria and we have weighted them. And you see that Azure is making a perfect score. Not because it's Azure, it's because it's public cloud and it's bringing really much more value out of it. And when I was mentioning about the architecture discussions on what to select and what to do, you get 2 options within MS Azure. Either you buy dedicated infrastructure or you can have VMs. So it's called HLI, an large instance, or VMs. And we've done as well this analysis because Coca-Cola was at the first stage moving to HLI because they want to be secure regarding the performance and make sure that they're going to at least save money, but with performance guaranteed. And they were not really eager to move to the virtual machines world. Now on, they are moving everything into the virtual machine world to get the lean way of doing cloud, meaning pay-per-use mode, and not buying some infrastructure over 3 to 5 years time frame. Here are some definitions and explanations on what to expect. What's the pricing? Do you have dedicated infrastructure? And you see that the only criteria where large instances or bare metal solutions are in favor, it's for dedicated infrastructure. But today, VMs are completely ruling what to do within the SAP to cloud space. No question about it. And everyone is investing into these VMs capabilities. Why Capgemini? Again, I just took a brief on 2 real case studies. We have much more. I wanted to cover those different aspects to showcase that, again, it's not a technical equation, but you need to consider all those different aspects and making sure that it's fit. And we have a huge SAP practice worldwide where we can leverage all those capabilities and those developments we are making. We have some kind of R&D capabilities on the SAP to cloud space. One point to note is that we are the 2K19, so it's not due now, it's due now on, the SAP to Azure Partner of the Year, meaning we got at least 3 references, including the one I've showcased, on big SAP on Azure move. So it's for real, we have done it, and we have the right expertise to do it. Again, the question is making sure that it's aligned with your business goals, because all of this means that you have 3 discussions in parallel. Digital, SAP business moves, and SAP platform move. And all of this needs to be defined as the right roadmap journey. That's all for me. I've kept some time and some room to see if you have any questions. Feel free to raise them.
Discuss a little bit about scenarios if you want. Any questions? No? In your personal opinion, Laurent, what's the biggest challenge in terms of moving this critical work?
The biggest challenge to moving to the cloud
really
space?
Important to everybody. So, in terms of the business, but in your personal experience, what's the main challenge in getting this type of resources?
The main challenge? Internal politics. Basically, you have different stakeholders who would like to move from some areas or not, and having everyone jumping into the same journey can be complex. And that's where we're here for, meaning helping out, showcasing that the solution is bulletproof, it's working, and now on we can help you move to the right pace and make it really concrete and factual based.
But it's political based on the budgeting aspects of the companies, because
it's based on
from
each
different,
of them.
different areas.
Budgeting, change management, operations, all those different aspects that makes it fun.
Okay. And what was your most challenging customer, if you can disclose it, of course? What was in terms of dimension, in terms of time of project? What was your main challenge?
So basically, the case study I've showcased, this customer had a 3 years roadmap regarding ECC move to S4, implementation of new solutions, implementation of SaaS solutions, and the biggest challenge was the CFO was absolutely not convinced on the move to cloud first, because he said, we got enough on our plate so that we must consider only those elements, and SAP, let's keep it on premise. I don't want any mess, any problem in the troubleshoot. So basically, I get involved with the chief digital officer of this company so that we showcase to the CFO, factually based, what was the needed elements to make it very concrete. And now on, he's the first one to want to move to cloud. So basically, it's understood that Azure and the past solutions, IoT data lakes that were implemented from a digital world, have to be connected with the SAP to cloud move. Okay. Because if it's not connected, it's not fully fit.
Okay, thank you very much. If there aren't any questions from the audience, let's give a warm welcome to Laurent. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you.
Thank you.